was many wonderful festivals, music festivals. A slightly different one. This one we had a great session with Philomena just now. Check that out on Sunday. She detailed festivals, music. Well, not her favorites, but some things that may become favorites of all of us. Some top places to be this summer in Portugal. Find out what they were if you didn't catch that when that's released this coming Sunday. So I don't think we've got Nuno with us for too long this evening. He needs to go back to the festival ground. Nuno, where are you?
Hello, good evening, everyone. So they call these mountains the magic mountains. And honestly, there is almost no trees in all of these area. No trees, but down the
Oh,
plenty of trees with a very small river, and it's a huge party there. But it's not only they have two agendas. One is about the festival, so dancing and music, and the other one, as scheduled as the music one, is about healing, only healing.
yeah.
So different stuff. Nothing to smoke, as Jerry has suggested. So
Well,
and
it's only when you said Magic Mountain, there's some, I've just sort of, I was thinking of
yeah,
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Nina. I thought that's where you were, right?
yeah, I sent today a photo of a huge mushroom, but huge. It has like 2 meters of diameter. And I sent to my team, and they replied to me, um, um, it doesn't fit in our room. And I replied to them, it fit at my mobile phone. So it depends how you see the things,
How
and
you
not
see
about
it. Yes,
the things
yes,
itself.
yes, yes.
Wow. Yes, it's obviously a consciousness changing event that you're at there, Nuno, with such
Yes,
profound
yes.
wisdom for us tonight. Can we see a little bit of that landscape behind you, Nuno?
Sorry,
We
the
see the
landscape?
landscape, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're great. It's lovely to see you as well. But you're in São Pedro do Sul, aren't you? And this is quite an
Yes.
incredible area.
It has nothing there, nothing here. If someone
Look at that.
challenged me to put my money in something like this, to bring people all over the world,
Yes.
I say no way, it's impossible,
Yeah.
impossible. But it's it's not about if he's huge or not. It's about how fulfilled you feel
Yeah.
once
Absolutely.
it's about these people smiling for you, people, good vibes,
Very
basically this,
good. Yeah.
basically.
And I'm just wondering if there's any discount on insurance if you go to a healing festival. Does that affect your premiums?
Look, I'm having like 3 4 years of very intense work, and now I'm not thinking on insurance,
Oh,
and
sorry. Yes.
the way of how I decompress, I relax,
Yeah.
is not doing nothing. Doing nothing put me very anxious, okay,
Yes. Yes.
stressed.
Understood. Yeah. Yeah.
It's reaching the peak with other stuff.
Yes.
So it's what I'm doing
You
dancing.
carry. It's very good of you to join us. Really appreciate you saying hi, and you're here to hand over to Ruth and Sandra of your
But
team.
regarding insurance, not Ruth, Sandra and Rita, I believe that Rita is here. Oh no, Ruth is also
Ruth
here.
is also here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could reply to you or regarding any kind of insurance or claims. They are the ones.
Fantastic, Nuno. Well, thank you very much for
Okay.
checking in, showing us this lovely place, and seeing you so happy and buzzing there, and full of good vibes at the
Yeah.
festival there, and lots of compliments about your shirt as well.
Thank you.
Okay, mate.
All of you, have a good night.
You
Good
too.
rest.
Igualmente, igualmente. Boa
Let
tarde,
me know.
boa noite. Ciao,
Thank you
ciao,
so
mate.
much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much
Cheers.
for joining us. Muito obrigado. There he goes. Nuno from Winsurance. What a legend. Superb. You had to walk out to the car park, I think, to get a signal for us as well. So thank you very much to Nuno. Thank you, team, as well, from Team Winsurance who are here. Thank you very much. Oh, Debbie is in Figueira da Foz on vacation, but bored. Can't wait to get back to Coimbra. Thank you for that as well. Excellent. Isn't that lovely when you can't wait to get back in your Portuguese city that you've made your home in? Fantastic. Now, Gilda is here, I think, this evening. We weren't seeing you earlier on. Gilda, are you ready to address us this evening? Big citizenship news we want to talk about, or should we come back to you? Okay.
Well, there's a lot of things to talk about.
Good
Let's
evening, by the
leave
way. Olá, boa
us.
noite. Tudo bem? How are you?
I'm so tired.
Are you? Bless you. Okay, well, we'll go easy on you tonight, but thank you for being here because this is big news, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So let's leave citizenship with Daniel because I already have enough trouble on my side.
Well, I'm afraid Daniel. Oh, Daniel is here. Okay, yes. So let's leave that to him. What were you going to share with us from the front line of migration, from your point of view?
Okay, so this week we had some news. We had a decree law that renovated the residency permits until 15th of October, but it didn't renovate the visas.
Right.
This means that the visas now that are expired and are not foreseen for automatically extension in this decree law.
Ooh.
So yes. So don't panic because this is Portugal. No need for panic. This is only stupid stuff
Right. Thank you for
happening.
that.
But there is always a solution, as you know.
Yes.
But people, I'm Portuguese. I know how to deal with these. But of course, that everyone is scared and is uncertain. So what did they do? They opened a website portal to renew the visas. However, most types of visas are not being able to be renewed there.
Right.
Why? Because when they thought about this renewal portal online was more for work permit visas, so that the employers could be a little bit more assured that people that were working for them had the extensions of the visas. And what they have in mind is that they will try to have everything sorted out by 15th of October. So they are going to do a task force to address everyone that has the visas expired to turn into a residency permit and to have an appointment by the 15th of October. So we will wait and see.
I had heard this task force. We've heard these sorts of big pieces of news before, haven't we, about how they're going to get a team together and address the backlog. You did say, I think, if I may quote you, we'll see about that. How positive do you feel about this taking place and that backlog being addressed in the way it should be by now?
I feel positive because they already did it when they we had this huge backlog with manifestação de interesse and they were able with this task force and these new IMA offices that they opened, they were able to address quite a few cases and it was they did almost 10 times plus than they used to do in a day.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
So I believe if they continue with this method that is working, it can, of course, the task force will be possible. If you ask me, do you think that the problem is going to be sorted out by the 15th of October? To be honest, I don't think so.
Right.
Because we are going to have 1 month of vacation. We know
Right.
how August works, and I don't think that it's going to be until then, but at least they are trying to make an effort. I don't think that this was the best solution to make one decree law for the visas and another one for the residency permits. This caused a lot of confusion in the people.
Yep.
And also we are still in a gray area about the family reunification processes.
Okay. All right. So no clarity there at this time. A focus, it would appear on the visas and that task force. I make that about sort of 10 weeks of useful work if you take out the August shutdown or slowdown. So that'll be interesting to see. Thank you very much for your update. Anything else from you this evening? And thank you for being here. Clearly, you've had a tough day and it's within a sort of tough time, generally speaking, for you and your team. So really appreciate you being here, Gilles. Is there anything else to share with us?
No, I'll be here to address your questions.
You're very good. And people are already asking you questions. We'll come back to you on that. And we'll save Daniel for, as you said, he can address the citizenship. We'll come back to you, Daniel. Let's stay with EI, with A, and talk to Pedro Franco. How are you, Pedro? Any more tax cuts been announced? And how's it going with your fiscal workload at the moment?
Yeah, so hi, everyone. Regarding the tax cuts, these are not yet approved, so we should wait for Parliament to approve this cuts on small cuts on taxes. We are talking about 0.5, 0.6% of the effective tax rate. It is something. So it's 500 million in terms of our state budget. 500 million euros, but it has not been approved yet. So the government is negotiating with the partners to approve this, among many other measures.
Okay.
It will be interesting to see if, for example, Chega or the Socialist Party will endorse this or not. It will be interesting to see. Because everyone is in favor of cutting taxes, especially those that affect job-related income. So not investment income, but job-related income. And pensions. Yes.
Yeah.
Regarding the workload, yes, we are much more relieved now because we've submitted all the tax returns until the last moment. Now it will be interesting to see, because what happened is that, well, most people that we have been whose tax returns we have been submitting are NHR, non-habitual residents, and people with foreign sourced income, obviously. So the tax authorities have not. So for instance, even the tax returns that I filed in the beginning of April, if they are NHR, the tax authorities are not validating these tax returns yet. So they gave priority to normal regime people. So usually people that just have work income in Portugal and that don't have any regime like the NHR. And they left all of these behind to the end of the row. Okay.
Right.
Well, it makes sense because people that are paying, so when you receive your work income, you are withheld at source. So there is withholding tax on your payslip. And the quicker your tax return is submitted and processed, the quicker you receive your refunds, which is what people are expecting. Even though this year the refunds were smaller because there was a decrease in November on the withholding taxes. So the tax authorities are leaving behind all the NHR. So all the tax returns that I've submitted are still untouched. They've not been validated. They've not been processed. So I'm guessing that when I'm in the beach in August, I will start receiving notifications of the tax returns being validated and people complaining about, because we can always count on some surprises.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Something to look forward to there as you bite into your bola de Belém on the beach there. You're not sure if it's sugar or sand. Maybe check your phone in the evening if at all whilst you're on holiday there, Pedro. Thank you for that. Anything else to share?
No, that's
All right,
basically it.
fantastic. Thank you very much. Alexandra Pinto is here as well. Good evening to you, Alexandra. How are you? Tudo bem?
Hello, how are you?
Very well, muito obrigado. Contigo?
Tudo bem.
Excellent. What's going
All
on
good.
at GIR?
Well, it's getting really busy. We're getting the really high peak season now at the moment. So whoever wants to come to Portugal or any other place in the world, you should start to organize things now in order to so we can get the things on place, anticipate everything.
Very
It's
good.
getting really, really busy.
Okay, and we spoke to your colleague Luis Duarte last week on the webinar. Great session with him. So yes, the basics and the pitfalls of moving your belongings and yourselves and your family and your pets to Portugal were discussed last week. So check that out on our YouTube channel. Anything else specific you want to share with us, Alexandra?
Well, no, I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first few minutes on the conversation, so I lost the few minutes, but nothing else. Everything is okay. Everything is
Excellent.
good.
Well, you're with us here for the town hall session with the Dream Team. You're part of the Dream Team answering questions on moving your belongings over here to Portugal. So if you have any questions for Alexandra and Global International Relocation, pop them in the chat now. As is the case with all of our experts here tonight, let's move on. Thank you for being here, Alexandra. And let's move on now to Sarah Davey of Spartan FX. Probably the second most newsworthy thing we can talk about after citizenship is that dollar, right, Sarah?
Yes, that is right.
People are throwing their heads in their hands as just a mere mention of the D word here tonight. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good, but yes, we're very busy because, yeah, as we've seen, obviously we have lost value in the dollar. But trying to be positive about it all is that we can help to a certain degree. There are solutions. The thing to sort of bear in mind is, yes, obviously the rates have moved against you, but really what we're looking at is it is difficult to forecast. Obviously, we do look at historic trends, we look at the data, but obviously some things that are coming out, especially from, say, Trump, for example, there's a lot unknown. And at the moment, the thing with the US dollar is that it could get worse. Trump does want the US dollar to be weak because then there'll be more American exports, and we may see the Fed cut interest rates as well, which I know is something that Trump's putting pressure on the Fed to do as well, which could weaken the currency further. So what we can do is we can help you buy euros in advance. We can hold them on account if you don't have anywhere to send them. We also have a facility where you can lock a rate with a 10% deposit. It's not a cost or a charge. Locks into the rate for a future date, whether that be something you need, whether it's a property purchase. If you're in the process of moving to Portugal, you're going to need euros. If you're living there, you are going to need euros. That's the bottom line. And we're speaking to a lot of clients who are wanting to get money and assets out of the US. Obviously, there's the one big beautiful bill that he passed talking about potentially putting taxes on money coming out of the US as well. So all of that, it could be a good time to be moving your money. Yes, it has got worse, but if we look historically, we're still not at too bad levels. How we've seen it worse in sort of 2021, 2018. So again, have a think about what do you need to do, when do you think you'll need your euros, and have a think about maybe now could be a good time to be buying them.
And to have a chat with you about that. Thank you for handling that in the most sensitive of ways this evening. Not easy for our audience, obviously, from people from the United States.
I know it's not easy because you're talking about larger sums of money than probably you normally deal with day to day, whether it be paying a bill, savings, moving, money for a house purchase. And even myself, obviously it's not as bad for sterling euro, but I should have transferred my salary a couple of days ago and I got waylaid. Now it's a little bit worse and now I'm kicking myself, and that's only about a % move. So
you should have spoken to your dealer at Spartan FX, Sarah.
Well, I know exactly, but now Alistair's going to be calling me when it improves.
Right. Okay, that's very good. That's all part of the service as
that
well.
there may be improvement there, that we might bounce back a little bit. So again, it's having that person as a support, speaking to them about what's your time frame. I'm restricted. I'm moving salary that comes in at a certain date every month. I can only go with the dates that I have. But if you have money available, then it puts you in a completely different position.
Okay, thanks for being here this evening. We'll come back to you a little bit later for your personal update on life in Portugal a little bit later after we've said hello to everybody. Let's go to Team Winsurance, who are making up quite a lot of the call tonight, it has to be said. They wanted to see the boss, I think. I know he doesn't like being called the boss, but they wanted to see his shirt this evening, I think. We've got Sandra, Ruta, and Amelia as well, possibly. And thank you. Who wants to speak on behalf of Winsurance, who can take questions this evening?
Well, hello, everybody.
Hi, Sandra. How you doing? Great to see you.
Hello. Well, Rita is Rita is here.
Yes,
She's
Rita as
been
well.
here from last week.
Yep.
She's
Hi,
a new
Rita.
member team.
Yep.
Well, where are you, Rita?
And any relation of Gilda, I wonder as well. Another great
Yeah.
Pereira this evening. I
Pardon?
think maybe Rita's behind the scenes. What's happening on?
Here.
Oh,
Don't you
hi,
listen
Rita.
to
Good
me?
to see you.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you. Thank you for being here
Yeah.
this evening. I think I make that 3 or 4 Winsurance team members. What's Sandra? Thank you, Rita, for being here. Sandra, what's going on in insurance? I'm guessing you're getting more calls about the insurance for electric bicycles and the little
Yes,
scooters. And all that.
that's the team. That's this past week. That's a real issue.
Yes.
We are very they are counting tests for because they are worried about the new news that
Yes.
is not so different that it was, but now people are very worried about it. Yes.
I did see a GNR officer talking to a gentleman, a member of the public, with an electric scooter today. So they do seem to be enforcing it, right?
Yes, they are. They are. It's a subject, a very different subject of the automobile policies.
Yep. Okay, great. All right. Well, anything else from the world of insurance? It sounds like you're nice and busy over there at Insurance.
We are always so busy, but nothing new.
All right. Well, we've got a question for you. We'll come back to that. Thank you for being here, all of you from Team Winsurance this evening. Members of the team, you can meet at Prohibition. If you fancy a trip to Obidos, Winsurance are involved in the music events over there, and you get to meet them in person as well on a regular basis, I believe. I think then maybe we should go a big topic of the times. Daniel, good evening to you of Reis Pelicano. Daniel Reyes is here. Good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Well, everyone's busy, especially you, I think, with this subject. And but could you tell us more about it? We do have a specific question, which is, of course, is the big one about grandfathering. But can you give us an overview before we get straight into that?
Well, we'll have a webinar about that on the 10th, the Expats webinar regarding the Portuguese nationality and the foreseen changes in the law. But just as a general overview, the government did a proposal to the parliament that will basically increase substantially the times that you need to have a residency permit to obtain the Portuguese citizenship. So the legal frame at the moment is 5 years. Of having the residency permit, and the guys that are in power now, they've approved the law around a year or something ago, that the time that people are waiting for the residency cards, it would be accounted for the time of the nationality. And this is especially important for people that have golden visas or the manifestação de interesse, the expression of interest, because those were the procedures that took longer to obtain the residency permits. Now what's in the table, or on top of the table, what the government proposed to the parliament, this is not the final form of the law yet, so some adjustments may occur. But what's on top of the table is to increase the limits to 10 years of having a residency permit. For people that come from Portuguese-speaking countries like Brazil, Angola, Timor-Leste, those countries, they will do a period of 7 years. So it's lowered the timelines involved to obtain the Portuguese citizenship. There's no grandfather in period for people that have already the residency permit, and I'm really upset about this situation because this means that my golden visa clients that trusted in the country, that did the investment in that are waiting for the cards, because I have clients waiting more than 3 years for an issuance of a simple residency card. This doesn't make sense at all. But at least they were willing to wait because they knew that the waiting period would be accounted for the nationality. It only seems fair that the inefficacy or the lack of progress that the Portuguese authorities are printing on the golden visa applications would be at least accounted for in terms of the Portuguese citizenship. And of course, they are upset about the 5 years, 10 years situation. The reading and the view that I have is that people that did the investment accounting with a legal framework, they should be grandfathered in. An exception should be created. This is the public image out of the country and the trustworthiness out of the country. So I'm clearly upset in this drought of this whole situation. I'm receiving a lot of emails of my already clients that they were not expecting this, and I'm clearly upset. I don't want to ruin the tone, the positive tone, but I'm upset. Yeah.
And you're not the only one, are you, Daniel? Around this. Will that tone be heard? Do you think by those in power?
There's a petition. I'm hopeful that the law will eventually be changed because this tactic was tried by the last. Oh, and there's one other thing that I didn't mention, and this is to have the law retroactive. And this is probably one of the worst things. Well, the law was not even approved, and they're saying that they will not accept any nationality processes after the announcement of the government. This doesn't make any sense at all. And this was what the last government did regarding, for instance, the golden visa. They announced that they would be closing the golden visa and that this would be retroactive. And then they pushed back at the end regarding this. So I'm hopeful that they don't do a retroactive law. I'm hopeful that they will eventually create a grandfathering period for people that are already in the making with their processes submitted and with the residency cards issued. For new people that come after, well, if someone arrives in Portugal one day after the law is approved, they will know that it's 10 years. I'm okay with that. Rules can change, laws can change, but if someone does an investment in Portugal and trusts the Portuguese economy, because the golden visa program was created around 2011, 2012, at the peak of the crisis in Portugal. And it attracted a lot of investment, a lot of foreign investment, people that trusted our economy, people that trusted our legal system. And now the rug is being pulled, and I don't think this is fair. I don't think this is a proper way to treat migration and to treat the people that believed in our system. So I'm hopeful that the government will adjust the law and create some safety measures. But what is being pushed forward at the moment, that's not the case. The law will be discussed this Friday. And eventually some nuances, some changes may be introduced by the other parties. And eventually, if the law has any unconstitutional situations, probably the president may send this to the Constitutional Court. So if this is the advice that I'm basically pushing forward for everyone that has already reached the 5 years into having the nationality and have the proof of Portuguese language test already passed, or are almost reaching that phase, do submit your nationality processes because you can still do it. The law shouldn't be, and I don't think it will be retroactive. Although I've seen some reports online of the conservatórias, the registries, refusing accepting nationality procedures because they say, oh, the law is going to change. And this, for me, it's totally illegal. So the Portuguese authorities at the moment, they have a legal framework. They need to abide by that legal framework. The law will eventually change. It will take some time. I don't think that this is going to be an immediate situation because the law needs to be discussed. Then it needs to be sent to the president, and then the president can either veto the law, can send it to the Constitutional Court, or can approve it. And well, the president is or was a teacher as a constitutional matters teacher in the university, my university actually. So I do think if the law is indeed unconstitutional, it will push back and it will take longer to get this law approved. So now it's the time to deliver the nationality procedures because this will change and I'm really not sure if it will have a grandfather period. If it will, then I will be happy with it. If it's 10 years, it's 10 years. But as long as people that are already in Portugal and were accounting with the old framework have their investments and their life plans respected, I can live with that. I just cannot live with retroactive laws and with people being defrauded, and I do measure these words, being defrauded in their investments.
I
I'm sorry
understand.
about the tone not being
No, fair enough, fair enough. Thank you for
but
that.
this is the current reality. I'm really upset about.
Yeah, and like I say, you're not alone, and I hope that that voice, that tone can be heard and get to the right
In
people.
that regard, I didn't approach that. So there's a petition online that I do encourage everyone to sign it. I will be able to put the link on the chat in a few minutes once I do finish talking. I do encourage everyone to sign that petition to see if this is discussed in the Portuguese Parliament. And there's some associations that are trying to do some pushback from the government. So this is not without its fight, and this is not without the professionals in the area putting up some fight with the what is being proposed. But I just don't I cannot condone this type of behavior by the Portuguese government.
Okay, so clearly, thank you. And if you put the link to the petition, that'd be great, Daniel. Daniel is on your side here. Expats Portugal will do what we can to support and help with this situation and keep you informed about it. And as Daniel says, there'll be a webinar next week, 7:30. Pop that in your diary. If citizenship is of interest to you and you want to stay across how this is developing, join us at 7:30 next Thursday evening, the 10th of July. Thank you, Daniel, for the time. I'm going to say, is there anything else? That's probably quite enough, isn't it?
It is. It is. Sorry, I ranted a lot,
No.
but I'm just really upset about this.
Appreciate your passion on this and the sense of fairness that's coming across with what you're saying. And it answers Michael's question. Thank you, Michael, for being here tonight. We'll get to the questions now. How will the new citizenship law affect expatriates who already hold a residency card? Will the government consider grandfathering? Clearly not, from what Daniel has been telling us there. Debbie, I'll come back to your questions. There was, whilst we've got you, Daniel, there was a golden visa question, which I'm trying to get to. And thank you, everybody, for your questions that are coming in now. Thank you very much. They're piling in. Yeah, Debbie, will come back to yours. Are you seeing that golden visa question there, Daniel? My chat is scrolling.
There was one from Tim.
Yes, that's the one.
Tim, so about the golden visa, I understand that IMA is not recognizing DUCs. The DUCs are the payment documents that you need to pay to deliver the process initially, and then to issue the residency permit at the end of the process.
Yes.
And any insight on this is done? Well, what we're doing in our law firm is sending a gazillion emails just to see if we can get some reply from AMA. They've been with their email inbox full for the last 2 weeks now, but we do send a lot of emails. Sometimes we're lucky enough to be able to contact the people, at least when the process is finishing towards the end. It's the people from the local AMA that contact us. And when that is the case, sometimes we're lucky enough to get a direct phone number or a direct email, and we can contact those people that indeed sent us the information to issue the DUC. But this has been a problem lately, and they then request, after the payment is done, they then request the lawyer to send the proof of the payment to AMA. But if the email inbox out of AMA is full, then they don't receive the information that the card can be issued. So this has indeed been a problem, but we're trying to sort this out with multiple emails to AMA. Sometimes we get lucky and someone addresses us. Sometimes it needs a lot of pushing to get some reply back. And in some instances, we're sending 10 emails per client per day until we have an answer, just to be as obnoxious as possible on our side to see if someone just thinks about the situation. Let's address this lawyer that is being a pain, so we can stop receiving emails from him.
That's why you should hire Daniel and Rodolfo, who are being obnoxious on your behalf for getting the job done there. So that addresses Tim's question there. Thank you.
Well, he still has some questions about the nationality and grandfathering period, but I think that I addressed that in my rant before. So I don't think that the 10-year situation is a done, or the 10-year situation is a done deal in my, at least what I consider. My only and main question is any eventual grandfathering period that starts that is envisioned in the law, and it does have the 5-year clock. When does it start ticking? If it's with this new law, it's from the payment of the first fees of the golden visa, so the 600 and something euros. with the proposal of law that is being pushed by the government is only once the first residency card is issued. And for a golden visa, this can mean losing more than 3 years in the waiting. So it's indeed serious, of course.
Thank you, Daniel. We'll stay with you. Popular man tonight. Diana, I read somewhere that one of the proposals for changing the law for nationality by descent is to extend eligibility to third-degree descendants, meaning to great-grandchildren of Portuguese citizens. Is this true? And if so, what are your thoughts about this, Daniel, from Diana?
It's 2 lines up. So basically, there's not a lot of change in that regard, but you need to show connection with Portugal. So even though they're talking about this and this is envisioned in the law, I don't think that this will I don't think that this will be a reality. But if this is a reality, they will request connection with the Portuguese culture and with Portugal. So for people that don't have any type of connection with Portugal, apart from having a great grandparent that was a Portuguese guy that came from the Azores, they will need to show connection with Portugal.
Yes.
So it's I don't think that this change in the law will mean anything, to be honest.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. Thanks, LaRonda, for your. We heard rumblings, didn't we? That there might be taxation on money for expats, like a taxation, an expat tax, I guess you could call it. Thank you for letting us know that that's been scrapped, at least for now. You say, LaRonda, that's in the chat here. That you can read, and others, I think, are glad to hear that. Any update on NRAs? I'm not sure what that means and who could address that. Maybe Pedro could come back to that for us. And question, do these law changes make much of a difference to the EU citizens? I think, Lonnie, you have to give us a little bit more context and background on that. Daniel, for next week, I want to know about residency, in particular travel out of the country. I'm not even a resident for a year until October, but want to plan vacations for, the next decade. But we might be able to address that tonight with Gilda, Debbie, because we're going to be very much focused on the citizenship this evening. We'll be focusing on the citizenship with Daniel next Thursday week today. So maybe we'll come back to Gilda on that and on your travel question there, Debbie. Tim, I think we've dealt with your question there this evening. Let's go to you, Gilda. Thank you for being with us tonight. Hola, Gilda from Finance Teacher. The government has announced that renewal of residence permits will be in person if the biometrics have expired. Is there any guidance about how long the biometrics are considered valid? Can you help us with that?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Sorry, you haven't got any update on that?
No.
Okay. All right, let's stay with you about cruise. We haven't talked about cruise for quite a long time. This is what you need as a European or a Schengen citizen, right? And to let the Portuguese government know you're now resident in Portugal. Christian is asking, any experience with renewal of cruise after change of address? 2 years ago, you can get it in the same walk-in day. Nowadays, that's impossible. Am I right in thinking this changes and varies from freguesia to freguesia with how quickly your crew will be handled, Gilda?
Yes, that's true. It depends from city hall to city hall.
Yes.
Some you can just walk in one day, or you can make the appointment for one day, and for others you have to wait a long time, or being persistent.
Okay.
Or taking a lawyer with you.
Right, lawyer up, I think the expression is, isn't it? If you want some obnoxiousness, as Daniel referred to, or some assertion, let's call it assertiveness with that. Thank you very much. Jose, probably this one's for you, Gilda. I finally received my residency card with an issue date of the 30th of May, 2025. So, under the current proposed law, I would not be available to apply for citizenship, oh, maybe you, Daniel, until 30th of May, 2035. Is the maths on that right?
Well, yes, that's indeed correct.
Yes.
If the new law is voted as is, then only in June 2035 you will be eligible for the nationality. And in terms of the voting, the next question, you can indeed vote in the regional elections, but you'll need to have more than 2 years of a residency card if your country doesn't have an agreement with Portugal. So EU citizens can vote straight away after they register themselves. Countries that have what we call a reciprocity agreement, like Brazil, and I think Cape Verde as well, they can vote in the elections from the get-go. All other legal residents will need to wait more than 2 years to be able to vote in the local, the municipal elections. But all other elections, like European elections, the ones for the parliament, the presidential elections, and I think even referendums, they'll be out of the equation for legal residents in Portugal. It's just the local elections, and that does make some sense. Local elections is something that deals closely with the public, and well, you may pay some local taxes by owning property and whatnot. So I think it does make sense for legal residents to vote in those elections. That I don't think that the information that was conveyed by the municipality was correct. You don't need to wait for the citizenship to be able to vote.
Right.
And who proposed the 10-year change? Well, Chega is one of the parties pushing this forward. The Iniciativa Liberal was one of them. This was in their program, but who proposed this? It was the government, it was the PSD. They are the ones pushing this forward at the moment. So all the right-wing spectrum is pushing on this, and the left-wing, as they don't have any real power at the moment, they're not fighting back because they know that they would probably be trucidated even more in the next election. So this is, the PSD has a funny way of dealing with Chega. They say, oh, Chega no, that they're out of the question, but then they apply their policy. So for me, this doesn't make any sense.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Your tone is being appreciated. Let me give you some feedback from YouTube. People are very supportive of the words and tone that you've been using this evening. Generally across the
It's
board.
not my general tone.
No, we
tend to be a bit more
recognise that.
cheery, but
Yes.
it is what it is.
Yes, indeed. Question for Daniel then. Let's. Terrell's getting strategic here. If someone has another type of residency, not golden visa, but for example D7, planning to apply for citizenship but doesn't yet have 5 years in, is there anything else we can do to document intent to apply for citizenship? It's a good thought process, but
It is.
probably not, right?
It is, but the reality of it is that if you apply now, the process will take 2.5 to 3 years to be assessed, and it will basically be a no. So all the conditions to obtain the Portuguese nationality should be already in place on the day that you request the nationality. So the 5 years will need to be already in. The Portuguese language test or diploma that you were approved in the language situation needs to be already in. And if you don't meet those conditions, the process will be basically denied. There's some things that can be corrected. Let's say that the FBI criminal background check is usually something that takes 2 months to obtain, or the apostille in the FBI criminal background check. So if you submit the document without the apostille, this is not something that the process will be denied straight away. You will be notified to deliver a new corrected document. But the main conditions, and this is to be a resident in the country for 5 years and to know the language, these are the 2 main conditions, and to have a clean criminal record. If they're not met on the day that you submit the application, then the application will be refused. So no point in submitting the application just to try to gain some time, because it will result in basically a failed application.
Great. Okay. Well, not great, but thank you for answering the question there. And Terrell also asking, with respect to residency permit renewals for those that expired before June the 30th and the IMA renewal, it appears one waits for an email from them like before, but you are able to tell if some person will still have to go. I guess some people will still have to go into in-person appointments, or will it be all online for those who don't need to update bioinformatics or a new passport? Yes, there was some mention of this before, wasn't there? Daniel, and we'll come to Shilda as well on this.
For golden visas, this is what is being pushed forward, and I hope that comes to fruition, because it would facilitate my life quite a lot. The portal is already developed in that sense. We're still testing the portal because this came 2 days ago, the possibility of doing renewals automatically via the portal. So we're still doing some tests. I'll probably have the answer tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thank you, Daniel. Wow. Quick work. Maybe some answers tomorrow there, but it's out of your hands to a large extent, but you'll be able to report back on that. Gilles, did you want to add anything to that in terms of how people are dealing with these renewal dates and expirations, and also moving in and out of the country? You did mention, don't worry, but when people are on the move and coming in and out of Europe, that can be a bit of a stress for them. How best to prepare for that?
Yes, that can be stressful, but we are having this strategy for quite a long time, since all these things start happening, for 2 years, I would say. So if you want to go, the thing is, you should not live without your residency permit being renewed, but it's not possible to get it renewed, and everyone knows. Well, everyone in Portugal, not if you are traveling through other countries. So what we advise is that if you want to go home, you go with the direct flight from UK or United States, and then come back to Portugal. And we make what we call a comfort letter from a lawyer explaining everything that is happening in Portugal, and then we justify it with the Portuguese law, and we put all the documentation there. Most of the times, and for UK, Canada, United States, we didn't have problems. But if the flight, if they don't go with direct flights and they stop in German, for instance, France or Spain, they are more picky with this, and they can cause problems. But most of the times, then they say, I want to call my lawyer, and they call us, and then we explain the situation. During all this time, I never had a problem with a client that had to be deported back. So yes, they can have an issue. We can try to do something in advance to avoid it. But in the worst case scenario, they would have to wait for some times and perhaps buy a new flight. But that only happens like 3 times in all these years.
So the recommendation is the comfort letter. You are at the end of a telephone, but preferably fly direct back into Portugal.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated.
But even for the direct flights, you should go with the comfort letter.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Debbie, does that satisfy your earlier question? Do let me know. Let's go to Team Insurance. Sandra, you might want to pick up a couple of questions that we've got for you this evening. The first was a long time ago. Jeannie, sorry, I didn't get to this sooner. This was about elder care and aging. Sandra, does that make sense to you? And what products do you have, or are you developing for people?
Yes, we have a product. You must send us, please, an email to our email that are in the chat. And then we send you all the specific contractations that we have. It's a long care for people who are alone, then broke the leg. So we have a medical assistant, a home assistance, all the person will need this. It's an assistance help. Insurance.
Okay, longer term in-home help, medical, and the sort of domestic help as well. Excellent. So there is a policy, Jeannie, for that. Thank you for that question. And is there a policy for pets? Rita, thank you for addressing this. And you didn't have to. Satisfied customers have been stepping forward to say, absolutely,
yes,
we insure
we
our
didn't have
pets.
to say.
Yes. What sort of, could you say a little bit more about the policies for pets that you've got and what they cover?
Sandra?
Yes, it's an insurance, a health pets. It's just like us. They have to, because they are our best friends. So they must have the best insurance that we are supposed to give to our dogs to protect them.
Very good. Okay, so yes to elder care and yes to pet care as well, and satisfied customers that you can see in the chat. And to those of you watching on YouTube, I have to tell you that on a busy night like tonight, the Dream Team are also answering by direct message, which you won't see over on YouTube. So I've put the link for you to sign up so that you can take advantage and be part of the audience here and get direct access to the Dream Team members. So thank you, Dream Team, for working behind the scenes and reaching out to people, the premium members that are here with us on the Zoom side here. If I do get time, I will come to more of your YouTube questions. Just on a quick and lighter note, Sarah Davey, can I come to you? Thank you for mentioning the guide. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and also how is it going on a personal level for you with your time here in Portugal?
No, definitely. Well, it was just that depending on your situation, we have a guide that you can request. Actually, good point, because I think Tara and a few people have mentioned that, which is the other thing, is that it is amazing here in Portugal. You know, yes, obviously the costs and the visa and things we're talking about, but the end goal is to get here,
yes,
you know, and live in this amazing country.
Worth the admission price.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and remains so. What we were talking about your dad earlier on and his excellent grasp of the Portuguese language. And other people have started saying oregano in social situations now, kind of thing.
Well, we'd be pleased to know he's got a legacy that he's leaving.
Absolutely, among us foreigners here. Anything interesting that you've discovered, or on a personal level, with your journey here? You've obviously worked as a professional, sharing information, and you've used the services of professionals of the Dream Team as well. How's it going in your first few months? Well, it's over a year now, isn't it? Just over a year.
Over a year. I think that, you know, even then, when it was a little bit easier for me in my visa process, I couldn't have done it without help of experts. And I think now, you know, speaking to a few people, the way things are changing, things are moving very quickly in a number of different sectors. I think this is really where the experts really come into their own. I mean, them themselves are struggling to keep on top of it. So, and they're experts in their field. So for us, sort of, you know, when it's not our area, it's very difficult to navigate. And as you said, like the key thing is to get the visa and get here. And, you know, you don't want to find that you've not done a piece of paperwork or you've not done something properly. And really the only way to do that is to use the experts. It really can help what is a stressful process and situation of moving country, moving to a completely different place. But everybody's really friendly and helpful. I think I said that I got a car recently and it's taken a long time to get it. You know, again, paperwork, bureaucracy. But the people that I've been dealing with, the Portuguese, have been so helpful and friendly. You know, you can't ask for better than that, really, the way that they've treated me and going through different processes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now, you travel the country. You're living a very Portuguese life. Any interesting foods, wines, or places that you've been to recently that you can shout out?
Well, with the parking, people park anywhere and everywhere. So I've become a bit Portuguese and created my own parking.
Have you?
spaces.
You've changed your parking style since
You
becoming
know, sort of thing. But no, but it's a lovely. I mean, you know, there's so much to see, and you can get around very easily. I mean, driving here from Lisbon way to the Algarve was like 2.5 hours. Went to the brilliant meetup in Tavira, which was really good. I spent a bit of time down there near Portimao, and then we went on that lovely boat trip and we tried some really lovely fresh oysters. So I would highly recommend that.
Stop it. I'm so hungry now. That sounds fun. Yeah, some people say they were the best oysters they'd ever had. Portuguese oysters there in Tavira. Thank you, Sarah. Just final question. Have you parked on a roundabout yet?
No, not yet, but I have seen that because
Yes,
where I
that
live
is the ultimate. That is the
it is
ultimate.
the ultimate. I came around, drove around the corner looking for a space, and there's like a painted sort of roundabout, very small in this sort of residential area, and there's a car parked on it. So
Yes.
that's the first I'd seen that.
Selfie, please, when you do that, if it's safe to do so. Thanks, Sarah, for your personal experience. We've got some quickies to come in now in the last 5 minutes of the town hall session with the Dream Team of Expats Portugal here. Let's go to you, Debbie. You've popped your hand up, having a boring holiday in Figueira da Foz.
Yeah, so just some quick questions. So I finally got my Florida driver's license apostilled, and it's sitting in my mail forwarding box in Florida. So 2 questions. The first question is, if customs decides to open that, is IMT not going to accept it then because it's opened?
Good question.
Does anyone know? I
Well,
guess
as
I'll
long
check
as
with
you
IMT.
have an apostille there,
Yes.
as long as you have an apostille, you won't have a problem because it's open.
Oh, good, good, good. The other question is, how do I get it here? So I have a mail forwarding service, and like 99% of my mail, I have them scan it and email it. And then once in a while, if somebody's visiting me here in Portugal, I have them bring my mail. Nobody's coming, so I need to get that here. What's the best way? My mail forwarding service said that they don't think USPS is a good way. Has anyone else mailed anything from the US that they really need to get here? It's important.
That's a good question. That might come from community members in the chat. A great topic for the forum, the safest ways to send documents from the United States. I had a great service from, I think it was UPS or DHL. DHL coming from the UK. I don't know if it would be the same for US people. They can speak from their own experience at the forum. Please do that. Let us know in the chat tonight. We'll take that to the forum. Debbie, anything else before we let you
No,
get
that's
back
it.
to your
Thanks a
exciting
bunch.
holiday? Okay, get
Thank
down to the
you.
casino. They've got a casino. That'll make things exciting and forget a defosh for you. Looking forward to being back in the
Boring. I
big
can go
city.
to a casino anywhere. There's like nothing to do here except go to the beach. I've lived in Hawaii, Key Largo, St. Croix, and the Virgin Islands. The beach is not interesting. So
Debbie,
anyway, it was
newsflash.
nice to be quiet.
People go to
Debbie,
forget a defosh for the beach.
Debbie, you've become Portuguese. There's nothing to do except go to the beach and eat fish and drink
Well,
wine.
the reason I came is that the Air Force, it's like their big air show, and I thought they'd be
Yes.
practicing all week. They haven't practiced, so there's like nothing to see. But I'll be home tomorrow.
It can change tomorrow.
I've got to tell you, I went to that a few years ago, and the pilots, and you get so close to the jets, it was unbelievable. And the pilots come out, and they're all, I swear they're walking in slow motion, and they're all doing the Tom Cruise thing, right? And they all slowly climb in their planes, and they take off one after the other. And the last one is still sitting on the runway going,
Needing a jump start.
The plane won't start.
And the guy in the first one's got the jump leads. Oh dear.
And he had to walk back through all the shame of it all. I'm sure dreadful experience for
We
him.
can hear the music in our heads as well with that slow motion walking. Berlin. Yeah. Thanks, Jerry. Thank you, Debbie. Right, a couple of quickies to get in then. Terrell, for you, Pedro, your update was really helpful. And Terrell has other questions as part of that. As a first-time Portuguese tax resident filer with NHR, I could not make sense of hearing from the firm I'm currently working with that they have no idea what my tax cost will be. Should have gone with EI. Does that make sense to you? The wait, I understand now from hearing you. I'm currently working with a different firm, but would like to switch to EI next year. Well, you would thoroughly endorse that, I'm sure. What's your answer to that, Pedro?
Yes, so we do the calculations, the estimates, and provide those to our clients prior to submission. So we review, we also review the tax return, and we present these figures to our clients and explain how this is being assessed. And sometimes most of the cases NHR expats do not have any tax liability in Portugal, but in many cases they have some tax liability. So we provide these figures. So I think it's very important to have to understand what will be the tax liability, because in the end you will have to pay in a single payment by August 31. So you must plan in advance how much money you have to put aside to that. So and also one thing that is important, that sometimes it's needed to amend, for example, the tax return on the other side. So sometimes it is necessary to amend the US tax return or the UK tax return.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very important. There must be a lot of interaction between the filer and the person and the client. So.
Thank you very much, Pedro. Terrell knows what to do next year. Fantastic. Thank you for your help. Thank you, all of you, Dream Team, for being here tonight. I want to squeeze a couple of quick things in. Roughly speaking, from Jeannie, are there any structural changes to the D7? We haven't asked this back to basics question for a long time, Gilda, but that remains unchanged, right? The basic form and how you're putting people through the D7.
Yes, it's funny because the D7 remains the same and no one seems to talk about the D7. I think that they just love
Let's
people
keep
that
it that
come
way.
under the
Let's keep it
D7.
that way. Okay,
Yeah, let's
sure.
keep it
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so that's good news for you, Jeannie. Jose, can you be very quick with your question or comment?
I can. I just want to make sure. So I know for citizenship, you need proficiency in the Portuguese language. I already have my A2 certificate. I'm currently in the B1, B2 phase. That does not expire, does it? So once I have my A2 language diploma, I'm good to go. It's not like the apostille marriage certificate where it's only valid for 6 months and you got to go back and get another one because it's
Or
2
the
days
criminal
after
record?
6 months.
Yeah. Good question, Gilda.
It's a funny question. It could be for Daniel also. No, it only expires if you start learning German, and then you forget about Portuguese.
Okay, very good.
Ich kann auch Deutsch sprechen.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine on both accounts, Jose. Thank you very
So
much.
then you're
Thank you,
fine.
Gilda.
It won't
That's
expire. It won't
That's
expire.
amazing.
Just
Yes,
want to make sure. I've been surprised before in Portugal, so I just wanted to
well,
make
yes, that's a fair
That's true.
question.
That's
That is a
true.
fair
You know,
question.
you are absolutely right.
All right. On
Our
that
marriage
note,
certificate was 6 days past the 6-month expiration date because our appointment got rescheduled and they wouldn't accept it. So that's what makes me nervous.
that's a bit petty, isn't it? But there you go. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for that question. Final comment. Thank you very much, Clint, from our comments this evening. I could not imagine doing this process without Expats Portugal and the experts here. Not a plug, just the truth. That's a great note to end on. Sign up if you're seeing this and you're not a member. Sign up at the Expats Portugal website, expatsportugal.com. Thank you so much, Dream Team. You've been fabulous. Lovely to see so many of you and have such a busy call tonight. We'll see you again soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
There we go.
Oregano.